Hello and welcome to another episode of A Night With, the show where we talk about games and the people who play them. But tonight we're not talking so much about the game, we're talking more about the movement and the people behind the movement. Tonight we've got on Mr. TheWhat, who is one of the big driving forces behind the big Fix-It TF2 movement that surely you have seen by now if you're on Twitter or literally anywhere in TF2 media. Even if you play TF2, you'll see the hashtag everywhere. TheWhat?
Yeah, because the bots use it.
the bots do use it. What is their plan? Okay, already off topic, but okay, so the bots are all coming in and they were like, we're gonna have every bot running on June 3rd to say fuck you to every person ever or whatever. And it's like, but that's just, isn't that like proving our point?
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah, exactly.
Are they stupid? Is that what it is?
They are stupid. You know what's funny? Yesterday I streamed TF2 and I specifically streamed myself joining casual servers. Why? Because I know that it was the easiest bait ever for the bot hosters.
Oh.
Sure enough, they stream sniped me. They DDoSed the server. They were targeting me. They were saying slurs in chat.
Really?
It was literally the most easiest bait ever, and they're just only proving me right that they target people.
Interesting. So I actually didn't know that they were that like coordinated. I guess it would make sense if a big streamer is on, then that's who you want to target. Like,
Yep.
I couldn't imagine being like lazy purple jumping into casual on a stream or something like that. That would probably only end poorly. But okay, so the bot hosters are idiots. That's a really easy one to get out of the way quick. But really quick, for anyone who isn't familiar with you, tell us a little bit about yourself.
I'm TheWhat. I make YouTube videos primarily about Team Fortress 2. Although recently I really haven't been doing too much TF2 stuff, but TF2 is my favorite game ever, and I really like it, and I hope to see it in a better place. I guess that's what I'm here to discuss. So that's me.
I think that your role in this has been pretty large. I think that you've released 2 videos, which is up from, you kind of post like bi-weekly, monthly. What's your usual posting rate? Do you have a
like
set
once a month?
Okay.
It used to be like every 2 weeks, but like my editing game has been taking longer. So typically it's like a month now.
That's understandable. Okay, so then what role are you playing in this movement itself?
So, this whole thing has mostly been a coordinated effort between me, Wheezy, and Shork. Granted, there's other people involved. We're just the people that have done the most. We helped make the website. We helped coordinate the direction of the movement. Pretty much everything that you see happening is been us coordinating this.
Okay. Go ahead.
Oh no, you can go ahead and ask your question.
When it comes to coordinating this kind of thing, how long did it take to get this whole thing planned out, put together for the movement that it is?
So, it all started right around probably January, February. And I contacted all my YouTuber friends and I'm like, hey, I'm sick and tired of these stinky, smelly bots. We should do something about it. Let's organize a mass boycott. And that was my original plan. That's what I wanted to happen, is I wanted to start a mass boycott. But then Shork and Wheezy got back to me, and they're like, no, let's aim for something bigger. Let's do this petition idea that Wheezy presented. And so that was about a month or 2 later in March, Shork was in Seattle because he was filming his Meet the Real Sniper video. I was also there, and the reason I went there is, number one, to see Shork, because we're good friends. We make each other laugh out loud a lot. And the second reason was because I wanted to help him with the voice actors to interview them for Save TF2, because I thought, hey, if we can get the voice actors on board for this next big Save TF2 movement we're doing, that would be massive. And during that trip, we got the interviews recorded. Granted, we weren't able to use them. I could probably get into that later. But when I get back, I get back into my home state of Wisconsin, and I think a couple weeks to a month later, I joined a casual server, right? And I saw I saw that the bots were mimicking Mega Scatterbomb's voice with the AI, and they were doxing him in the chat. And I just remember feeling viscerally disgusted and just like enraged. So immediately I recorded everything, and then I got back to Mega Scatterbomb. I'm like, this shit needs to change. And I think that moment with him getting doxxed was the catalyst for me to really push this thing into hyperdrive. And that's when we really started planning. And so we've had this plan for a couple months now, and we're finally acting on it. And like 2 months later is when we finally drop it all.
Okay. So we will talk about the voice actors later, because that was interesting. But one of the questions that my Discord had come up with was about actually the whole idea of a boycott. I can't remember. So I know that there was a podcast that came out. Zesty was on it, and I think a couple other people were on it from this movement. Were you on that one, or was that?
I was not on it, but
okay.
I know about the podcast because I've been on that podcast before. That's Lucid's show.
That's right. Man, I got to do a crossover episode with Lucid. Lucid's cool. One of my viewers had watched that. I haven't gotten to watch it yet, but they were saying that a big topic that came up in that video was a boycott, and whether or not it would be useful or detrimental to the kind of thing that Fix TF2 is aiming to fix. Was there ever a discussion behind the scenes between all the big names as to whether or not a boycott should be a primary factor?
So by the time that we started reaching out to other creators, Shork, Wheezy, and I had pretty much settled on our vision for what the movement would be. But between the three of us, I think Shork is neutral on the idea of a boycott. I think Wheezy's against the boycott, and I am for the boycott. So, while Fix TF2 as a whole isn't really focused on the boycott, it's more so focused on the petition. I could certainly elaborate on my own thoughts for a boycott if you wanted.
Yeah, I think that'd be interesting. Go for it.
Okay. So, I guess let me address like the biggest like negative thought for the boycott, right? And that would be that TF2's revenue stream to Valve is so small in comparison to the gigantic money makers like Steam as a whole, Counter-Strike, and Dota. TF2 is absolutely minuscule, right? In terms of the amount of money that Valve makes. So by boycotting that revenue stream, you're just showing Valve that even the most minimal time effort they put into TF2 is not worth it anymore, and they'll either shut down TF2 or they'll just stop updating the game, right? And that's the main concern with the boycott approach. I'm here to say that the idea that Valve would do that is highly unlikely, because even if the money Valve makes from TF2 is incredibly tiny, it is still a revenue source, and Valve as a business will want to, because TF2 is essentially free money for Valve. They get one guy to pick some random workshop items, chuck them in every couple of months. It's essentially free money for Valve. Valve would, as a business, like to keep that free moneymaker open. So I don't think they're going to stop updating the game because, either they just ignore the boycott or they do something about it. And as far as Valve shutting down the servers for TF2 because they realize that it's not making money anymore, that is not going to happen. 100%. That is an impossible scenario.
Really?
Why?
Okay.
Because Counter-Strike, the Counter-Strike economy. Counter-Strike is Valve's biggest economy. Like, you're seeing knives and skins selling for $1 million+ dollars. Valve as a company makes tens of millions of dollars, over $60 million per month, just on Counter-Strike cases alone. And the TF2 and the Counter-Strike economies have crossover. People will spend keys for Counter-Strike skins. People will trade Counter-Strike skins for TF2 items. There's an overlap there. The TF2 economy is a factor in the Counter-Strike economy. So if you shut down the TF2 economy, that would have massive negative ripple effects across the Counter-Strike economy. You'd see prices plummet. You'd see people unboxing less. And so due to the ripple effects that the TF2 economy would have on the ripple effects that the TF2 economy would have on the Counter-Strike economy, Valve isn't going to want to mess with that system. So a TF2 boycott would at worst yield no results or yield some results. I do not think there's a negative outcome of a boycott.
Okay. I wasn't aware of the tie-in that Counter-Strike and TF2's economy have on each other. I'm inclined to just take your word for it, but at the same time I'm like, does that make a lot of sense? My only thing about it is, if TF2 does get boycotted, does Valve look at it and say, okay, it's time to just shoot an old horse or something like that? But if shooting the old horse is going to fuck with Counter-Strike's economy, then that's way less likely to happen. I'm personally neutral on it. I don't think that it would necessarily be a huge help. I don't necessarily think it would end TF2 if it was boycotted.
Yeah.
So, but that is interesting because it's not. Within the website, the Save.tf website, there is no mention of a boycott as far as I saw. So I was curious about what the thoughts were behind it.
Yeah.
Okay, but that's good info. I noticed that on Twitter you ended up doing a poll recently. I wonder if I can pull that up really quick. Actually, you probably have more of it than I do, but let me bring it up. TheWhat? Okay. I'm the one guy with the annoying voice. Why do people think your voice is annoying?
I don't know. You should see the amount of comments I've gotten recently now that I've like amped my controversial like status up as like a figurehead of Fix You Too.
Really? That's
yeah. Lots of comments about low T amounts. Gotten lots of those.
I mean, we all play TF2. How high can our T count be?
Yeah. You're talking to a TF2 YouTuber, okay? You're not gonna find some hyper masculine guy that sounds like Markiplier, all right?
Yeah.
Hello, I play TF2 and I have a very deep masculine
Welcome
voice.
to my TF2 gameplay. It probably, I mean, no, I won't take any shots at Zesty. Not this time. I did that last episode. I don't gotta do it again. But okay, so your poll, I looked at it on your Twitter and it's done, or so I can't look at anything on it. But did you find anything interesting from that? Was there any surprising stats?
Yeah, there was one that really surprised me. It's when I suggest the idea of just like doxing bot hosters. I thought that would have a pretty mixed response. And granted, there's a little bit of a mixed response, but like nearly a quarter of all voters voted that doxing bot hosters would be extremely effective in stopping the bot crisis. And I think that is extremely wrong and a very emotionally charged answer.
Only
I
a
think
quarter
people are thinking rationally.
Only a quarter said that it would be effective to stop it.
Yeah, so like, how effective do you think the following method would be for Fix TF2, exposing identities of bot hosters? Nearly a quarter of voters voted that would be extremely effective.
Oh, really? Do you think that your polls were maybe infiltrated by a bunch of bot hosters?
There's the possibility of that, but why would the bot hosters vote in favor of themselves getting doxxed?
Well, no. They're voting against it, right? The other 75% would be the bot hosters.
No, I think the likelihood of the bot hosters infiltrating this poll is pretty unlikely.
Okay.
I got a lot of responses. They all seem pretty human. Like I wouldn't doubt that there's like a couple. Like there seemed like some outliers in my data
or
when
like
I looked over it. And, like
the kill TF2 people.
Yeah, like the kill TF2 crowd.
Yeah.
But I was shocked to learn that a majority of TF2 players would be interested in doxing the bot hosters as a viable strategy for fixing the game, and I couldn't disagree more with that. Personally,
what is your thoughts on it?
My thoughts is that it's a dangerous stunt because the bot hosters are petty motherfuckers. All right, I go over it in my video. Like I show people what they did just for Mega Scatterbomb creating a database of cheaters.
Yeah.
Imagine what the bot hosters would do to someone actively trying to expose their identities. Like you are messing with your personal safety if you're trying to go over the bot hosters. Plus, it is a very, very bad look for the TF2 community if outsiders just look into this movement where we want to get fixed TF2 and they just see a bunch of people doxing each other and just like being just this toxic cesspool of just doxing and harassment. People aren't going to want to engage with that. I think it's very bad optically, and I think it's very dangerous to even engage with the bot hosters in that regard.
So now, when
where you're just exposing them,
when you're saying dox, is that I find where this person lives, their personal information, and post it online, just like throw it up on a website? I would say that that's not smart. I do think though that when it comes to, for example, the people that are doxing Mega Scatterbomb, that personal information should probably be given to like authorities or something like that. I think that there's a like obviously. This guy cheated my game, so I'm going to get his address and send it to the police. Not the smartest thing to do, probably, but kind of funny. But not that, don't do that. Don't do that. But I feel like when it gets to the serious stuff, when it gets to somebody doxing somebody and then calling in the swatting from against Scatterbomb, I think that that's when it's okay to send that kind of stuff to.
Yeah. A problem with that is that the people who are doing this most likely are from like Russia, right? And Russia has extremely lax cybersecurity laws. So you dox this guy. This is the guy that doxed Meta Scatterbomb. Very high likely chance it's a guy from like Russia, and nothing is happening with it.
That's true.
And now you just expose the identity of a guy who will now do the same thing with an even greater force to yourself.
That's true. It does come down to personal safety at that point. That's pretty weird. So I don't know if you know who the informant is. Was an account on Twitter.
Don't get me started on that whole thing.
Oh dude, I've got a video in the works on that one. That's
really
fascinating. There's a lot of shit.
I'd be interested in hearing your thoughts on that.
We'll talk about it afterwards because it goes way too deep for what it is. It's a frickin' TF2 dating sim that just exploded into doxing and shit, and I'm like, what
I've just been referring to it as the huge TF2 porn game drama. That's just what I call it.
That's kind of what it is, yeah.
The huge TF2 porn game drama.
Huge drama. We'll get into that one, and we'll get into that one later. It's funny, but
I'm rubbing my hands in excitement.
there's a lot of it kind of blows my mind how, because that issue also has a bunch of doxers, cheaters going after the people that are attributed to that game, and they're ruthless. They do not care. They're just like throwing all of this shit. They're finding videos of them as kids and putting it on places, and it's gnarly to see. So yeah, don't mess around with these guys. They've got zero time, or they've got all the time on their hands.
Yeah,
they will do whatever the hell they want, and it's just not worth it, probably. Okay, let's move on to the movement and what its goal is. So, what are some of the major issues within Team Fortress 2 that the movement aims to address? Obviously, I'm sure that you've everybody has seen this movement on Twitter or whatever, but in your words, what are the main things that you want this to fix?
First and foremost, and really only, the aimbot issue. The cheaters, the bot hosters who are going out of their way to harass and essentially make TF2 community as miserable as possible to scare them into silence. I think that's the number one issue, and the thing that should be focused on most is the bot crisis and the things that the bot hosters are doing. I think that real action needs to be taken against these people. And I think I've heard it a lot. I've heard it a lot with the last save TF2. Like, people said, it didn't have focus. It lacked direction. And I think you do see that a little bit. Like, with the last save TF2, it was like, the TF2 has a problem, and we got to get this problem solved. If you look on the original poster, we don't even use the word aimbot or cheater. And so I think last time, it led to a lot of people being confused. People would click on this hashtag and just see people supporting TF2, and they go, well, what is the issue? Is it aimbots? Is it a lack of updates? Do people want updates? Is it bugs? Do people want bugs fixed?
Yeah.
So I think last time there was a lot of confusion because people didn't know what the problem was. So this time we are keeping 100% of the focus on the problem and the root of that problem, which is Valve's negligence.
Yeah.
Like, you may think that the bot hosters are the cause of the problem. They're really just a symptom of the problem. The cheater epidemic is a result of Valve's negligence as a company. So first and foremost, we want the cheater problem fixed, and we want Valve to speak out about it. That's our goals.
I think that that's a solid goal to want to have. I think that having that direction is going to be really, really, really helpful to the movement this time. I'm pretty darn optimistic about it all, because, like, what else can you really be? You know,
Yeah.
like, we're not going to break TF2 more. So, you know, the most that we have to lose is the bot hosters going, haha, you guys suck, you can't do it. And it's like, okay, you're still living in your mom's basement. I don't know.
Yeah.
So the main issue that this one is addressing is the aimbots. Do you think that Valve has the capability of making a working anti-cheat for this? Because a lot of games have problems with making anti-cheats because, you know, they're too intrusive, they don't work, that kind of thing. Can Valve do it?
I have just looked up Valve's net worth, and I have found that they have over $7 billion. All right.
You think that's enough?
$7 billion,
I don't know.
buy the moon. All right. With $7 billion, you can for sure invest in some anti-bot measures and a functioning anti-cheat. I think that this problem is well within Valve's means to solve. They just don't see it from a business perspective as something that is, from a monetary view, as something worth doing. And I think you're seeing that in Counter-Strike. Because Counter-Strike, if you look at the content creators, there are content creators that are just quitting the game because they cannot even get into a single Premier game without hackers. And this is a game that Valve just dropped.
Yeah.
And if you're seeing this in Valve's new game, what about their next new game? Hint, wink, wink, nudge, nudge. What about their old games? Left 4 Dead 2 is suffering from DDoS attacks on their servers. TF2 is suffering from a giant aimbot crisis and a giant harassment campaign, essentially, inside its community, directed at the community. Valve has the means to fix it. They just choose not to.
Okay. I think that every other anti-cheat that I've ever used in any game ever sucks ass. I think that Valve, instead of making the next Steam controller or the whatever the fuck that brick was that is now just sitting on people's shelves because nobody uses it.
The deck?
The deck is awesome. It came like...
The Link? The Steam
Yeah,
Link?
the Link, whatever the fuck that did. Instead of the next one of those, Valve should be like, hey, we made an anti-cheat and it's perfect. And here you go, everybody. We're selling it to video game producers or whatever.
Are you familiar with VAC Live?
No.
So this is like a hot topic in the Counter-Strike community because, you know, Counter-Strike is getting a modicum of attention from Valve at the moment.
I think that I've played Counter-Strike a total of 3 times. So I'm very good at it. And all that's,
I mean, I'm not going to claim to be good at the game. I just poured a lot of time into Counter-Strike. I would never for a second claim I'm good at the game.
We should play together so that I can get my 1 taser kill and then I can be done with the game forever.
I get freaky for Zeus kills. But anyway, VAC Live. Okay, so Valve is attempting to create like a deep learning anti-cheat, with their thought being, well, all these standard anti-cheats, you have to figure out what the cheaters are doing, then ban the cheats, and then the cheaters will just create new cheats, and you have to figure out those cheats. They call this treadmill work.
Yep.
Where you're essentially just running in place, not getting anywhere, because the cheaters were always going to up the ante. Their thought is, well, what if we can just make this software that will learn what a cheater looks like, and will ban them because the deep learning knows exactly what a cheater will do, and ban them off that alone. And so they attempted doing this in Counter-Strike 2. And little did Valve know, if you had a bind that upped your mouse sensitivity to like a ton, and you killed somebody, toggled the mouse sensitivity, and spun your mouse around like hell, the deep learning anti-cheat would assume you were hacking and would instantly ban you on the spot. And so all these innocent players were doing this meme and getting banned. And it was a really bad look for this brand new anti-cheat. So you're essentially seeing Valve pulling the plug on it. And so essentially, Counter-Strike 2 has been operating with very little to no anti-cheat. And you're just seeing hackers everywhere. And so Valve is really trying to do this new deep learning anti-cheat. But it's not working. Valve is refusing to do the treadmill work. And so you're seeing that. Well, Valve is trying to do like this weird deep learning anti-cheat thing. They're just letting cheaters run rampant in all games because they're refusing to put in the work. Well, I would like to highly contest the idea of treadmill work. Because you want to hear my opinion on what treadmill work is? I just think it's normal fucking work, all right? It's called maintenance, all right? Valve is essentially like, well, I don't really feel like taking a shower today. Taking showers is a treadmill work, so I'm just going to skip the shower and be smelly as hell. And, you know, you did basic maintenance, like keeping cheaters out of your games is not treadmill work. It's just normal work. So I think if you're really trying to pour your time into this deep learning VAC Live anti-cheat, you're going to have to keep up with cheaters in the meantime while you figure it out.
I actually don't think that I've ever thought about it that way before. That, like, people... I worked in tech support before, and that's literally what your job is to keep up with the problems that are coming up and then fix those problems, and that's your job. I didn't think about that. Maybe isn't Valve like famous for doing the whole thing where it's like, you guys, our developers can work wherever they want. We won't force them onto any kind of job. And is the treadmill work the shitty job, so nobody wants to do it?
Yep.
Oh, I have.
Nobody wants to do the maintenance work. Everyone wants to be on the next big thing. And for a while ago, that next big thing was CS2. It comes out, the cheater problem arises, and everyone stops working on it because it's not fun anymore. They have to do the maintenance work. And
now they're working on Overwatch or Deadlock.
Yeah.
Interesting. Maybe okay. So back to this deep learning thing. I feel like it can work. I feel like with the time and energy and money put into it, that's totally a viable option. Now, yes, if you press a button to increase your sensitivity, go crazy, then it'll ban you. But like, at some point, maybe don't do that.
Yeah.
I don't know. I do have a friend. His name is Aperture B, and he's freaking awesome, and he's a heavy main. He has a condition in his hands that makes it so that only his fast twitch fibers work or something like that. Let me see if I can pull up his thing. Oh yeah, he left TF2. That sucks. Did he do something for TF2? No. Amateur back TF2. But so he plays heavy he mains heavy in TF2, and he uses I think it's an eDPI of like way too freaking much. Here. This is like how he plays. This is his sensitivity. That's just him. He's got a mouse in the corner. You're covering it up. But I would assume that would get banned by whatever this thing is.
Yeah.
So
you're gonna kill us heavy, and then you do this, and then you're banned.
Yeah, his famous thing is he can shoot behind him while he's looking forward because he's just that crazy. It's the dude's freaking awesome. But so maybe it doesn't work for everything, but I just want to see something work. Maybe it is just get the guy to do that and have that be his job. That sucks.
Or you can just hire someone with that $7.7 billion. You can hire a small team to keep on top of the hacker problem. You know, you're sitting on your giant Dragon's Lair dungeon filled with gold. Maybe do something with that.
I bet you that there's a whole lot of people who play TF2 and are like learned in that kind of field and who would be willing to do it. Interesting. Maybe, I actually didn't know that CS2 or I didn't know that CS2 was dealing with cheaters. I always
Oh, yeah,
just
it's a
figured that
massive
they're
problem.
better than.
Yeah. No, if you look it up, there's like Counter-Strike. There's Counter-Strike people being like, the game is unplayable. I can't play the game.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
So that you have to rely. Essentially, if you get to a certain level in Counter-Strike where you're like out of the casual market and you're into like the comp people,
Yeah.
it's all hackers.
Really?
It is just legitimately all hackers. Yeah, you will get into games with like
Huh.
4 to 5 hackers blatantly just spin botting.
So there is outcry in the CS2 area then. I feel like I've seen a lot of CS2 people shitting on TF2 people for this movement. Or maybe
Yeah.
why would they hate it?
Because
Wouldn't they be
Counter-Strike
like-
2 isn't dealing with the bot problem, so it's not our problem, that's someone else's problem.
It's not. Oh, okay. So they're not dealing with bots. They're dealing with hackers, like with script kiddies or whatever, like
Yeah.
actual cheater. Okay. I thought it was a spin bot issue. That makes sense then.
The Counter-Strike community is essentially going, come on, it can't be as bad as TF2. It'll never be as bad as TF2. And a word of advice for the Counter-Strike community from a resident TF2 fanboy for 10 plus years. All right, you think the cheating problem's gonna get better? It's not.
It's not.
It's not. It's not gonna get better. So you better start getting vocal about it.
Get on Valve's ass now.
Yeah.
That's a good message for him. So we have seen just how much of a response there's been to this movement. The TF2 site, current Safe TF2 site, is currently at 215,000, almost 215.5 thousand signatures, which is a number that my brain can't comprehend. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Is this what you were expecting? Were you expecting to get this big when you first started it out?
Yes. Unironically, yes. I think that this story about the bot hosters using TF2 as a vehicle to just expose people's identities and endlessly harass the community in submission. I think this is a huge gaming news story waiting to happen. Because if you think about it, I don't think there's ever been a problem like this in the gaming space before, at least not to this extent, where it's just this mass harassment campaign. I don't think you're ever seeing something like this for just speaking out against a problem in the community. Just being met with this mass harassment campaign.
I don't think there has. No.
I think this is a massive news story waiting to happen, which is why I created the document that I did, and I reached out to news outlets, and I'm like, hey, you guys got to report on this. This is a really serious issue. People's lives are seriously in danger because of this.
Mm-hmm. I have seen a couple of big news site or big gaming news sites specifically pick it up. There's so IGN posted about it, and then I think Kotaku was the other big one. And I'm sure there's a few others that I'm just not remembering, but that's in and of itself great. I have a Google phone, and when I swipe to the left from the home screen, it's like, here's your news for the day. And the top one today was Safe TF2. And I was like, that fucking rocks. That's exactly what we want to see.
Hell yeah.
So, hey, Valve, if you're fucking listening, you're getting a lot of eyes on you. I wonder if those news sites shared the safe.tf. I should look at that.
Yeah, most of them shared the website.
They did? Okay, good.
Unfortunately, a lot of them didn't, expand upon the doxing and harassment angle, unfortunately, which is something I really wanted to see. But I think we are starting to see more people become aware of the doxing issue. I'm not going to say who in case the article never comes out, but I did have a journalist reach out to me this morning, and I did an interview with them about the problem.
Okay.
And they're doing their own investigation into it themselves.
I wonder if they're worried about the legitimacy of it yet. I wonder if they have I don't know, all the info that they need. I don't know.
Well, they wanted to be in the bot hoster Discord, so I sent it their way because it's a public server, so they're about to see for themselves.
I didn't realize
it's going to be irrefutable. Yeah, any single person watching this, you can just join the bot hoster Discord right now.
Do you recommend it?
I would not recommend it, no, because they're granted, I'm very vocally against the bots, so if I joined that server, that would be hell for me. But the average Joe probably would not see anywhere near as much blowback for joining that server.
I'm seeing what is this? Steam DB. Wait, is that just a guy, or is that's not? Sorry, never mind. That's not Valve. I got excited for a second. No, that's also not Valve. Goodness, there's too many parody accounts. I keep on seeing Valve be like, "We hear you," blah 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 blah, and then it's like, "Oh wait, no, that's
a shitpost."
Yep. Okay. Oh, one question I did have. Wheezy, I commented on Wheezy's post about this website and that these numbers had gotten fixed, and also that you can use Google to just sign up for it. I did want to ask, do we have like, can it be verified somehow that these numbers are not like bot infested with the sign in with Google kind of deal?
Yeah, actually we can. I can say confidently that like maybe a couple bots like squeak through, but I can say for sure that nearly all of those signers are genuine because we have multiple filters in place.
Okay.
Granted, maybe if I elaborate on it, maybe people could bypass it, but we do have filters in place.
Don't worry about it elaborating on it too much. That was the first thing that I saw. I was excited that they were starting to get through an email a second, but I was like, oh no, I don't. Can we verify? But that's good. You know what? That's good enough for me. I trust TheWhat with TF2's life at this point.
Yay! I trust our programmer because they've really been doing the heavy lifting with the website.
Is that one of the content creators, or is that some other person who wanted to help out?
It's a person named Moonly Days. Like, they've been the one that's done a lot of the programming because, I mean, we're YouTubers. We don't know the first thing about making a website. So, like, true. we the YouTubers, we wrote, like, the contents of the website. I did, like, the mock-ups that the website would be based on. But we had our own, like, team of people that are, like, programming the site and, like, that actually put it together. Because, you know, I'm not a web designer, so I don't know myself.
Okay.
And they've been doing a lot of heavy lifting. There has been a lot of filters in place. To make sure that bots don't get through. We had like a CAPTCHA. We have the verification system. We have blacklists. So yeah, we're pretty much in the clear when it comes to bots signing the petition.
Sweet. We talked about it just a little bit ago. The Mega Scatterbombs GitHub that ended up being basically wrote off as, oh, this is a duplicate issue, whatever, by a Valve employee. And you weren't totally caught up with it, but does that necessarily ring any bells for you as like, this is positive, negative, Valve is listening, Valve isn't listening? What are your thoughts?
So the GitHub stuff happened while I was streaming, so it's pretty much depending on my chat to relay me updates on the GitHub situation. So as I understand it, we had Mega Scatterbomb and like the letter Z, who's like a programmer guy. He's like also makes YouTube videos. We had them draft together a message to send to Valve on GitHub, and Valve shut it down nearly immediately for being too harsh.
I think it took 4 minutes exactly.
Yeah, for being too harsh, and also for being a duplicate of another complaint issued 4 years ago. And the fact that Valve said, this is a dupe, you guys actually said this is a problem 4 years ago, actually should say a lot about how much Valve has done to combat the problem. So yeah, they called us too harsh, which I think is really rich coming from Valve, considering they've been complacent in letting their own fan base get doxxed and harassed by this malicious group. And they have the gall for us when we call this out to say that we were being too harsh on the itty-witty little indie $7 billion company.
You know what I just realized? I put out a video. I put out a short of me being like, what's Valve gonna do? Be like, you guys were too mean this time. Oh my god. They did. Oh shit.
Don't be so mean to us. We're only a little indie company.
Whoops. Yeah. Sorry, Gavin. Gavin, if you're watching this, it's my bad. Don't take it out on everybody else, please. Okay, so I think that at the end of the day, that's not like a make or break anything. I don't think that we look at that and say, oh, they're not listening. They just hate us. Like,
yeah, it's not over yet.
There's a number of reasons they could have done that. And yeah, it sure as hell isn't over. You spoke about earlier that the voice actors for TF2 were going to initially be in this movement, but then they ended up not being able to do it. What I watched. Do you know Tony Allen? Do you know that channel?
Yeah, I know about Tony Allen. I think I talked to him before on Lucid's podcast.
Yeah, he's a friend of mine, and he came to me and he asked me about what I thought about them not being able to do it, and then he made it a video, or he made it a point in his fixed TF2 video, and his point was that he's lost a lot of respect for the actors because it's become pretty clear what their motivations are, and it's not the community, it's not the TF2 people, it's money, essentially. What are your thoughts on that whole deal?
With essentially, like, with that, I don't hold a lot of contempt for the voice actors in that regard, because I think it's important to realize that the voice actors, they're like 60 plus years old. These are a bunch of elders who don't even know what a video game is. And I think that they don't know what's going on, and they don't want to attach their names onto something that they're not confident in, that is also very critical of their employer. You know, because maybe a lot of these guys might have a gig with an upcoming thing, wink, wink, nudge, nudge. And I think, like for them, it's a conflict of interest, but it's not what I'm going to hold them, like, a lot of contempt for, because they don't know. They're just these old guys who are just hearing people be like negative about something. Like, they were originally on board, right? And I think it's because they left because this movement was going to be very critical against Valve, which is their employer. That's like a conflict of interest for them. But I don't know. I guess I'll just leave it at, like, they don't really know. They're not confident in it. I'm not gonna hold them, like, I'm not gonna say that they're grifting because they just don't want to be part of the internet movement that they don't know the first thing about.
Okay. When I first heard that story that they wouldn't do anything for the movement because of whatever, my first thought wasn't necessarily that it was because they just want their next paycheck, because I think that it's pretty hard to look at what they do and how much they talk about TF2 and their roles in it. I think it's hard to look at those moments and write them off as they're grifting. And maybe I'm just, rose tinted glasses because they're, my favorite people or whatever in this game they voiced. I think that it's more so, if I were them, if I was voice acting for this thing and someone was like, hey, you should help be very critical of Valve in this thing because their game doesn't work, I wouldn't want to put my name on it, because what if they ask me back to voice stuff? And I think you alluded to that, where it's like, I don't think that it's smart to accidentally wrap yourself up in something that could end up being detrimental to that kind of thing.
Exactly.
So,
like, these people kind of, like, they kind of depend on these gigs to stay afloat, and I don't think they want to bite the hand that feeds them over something they're not confident about.
Yeah, I think that I agree. I don't think that them not joining in is necessarily their bad kind of deal. Are there any neat little interesting tidbits that you could share from, like, behind the scenes of this whole movement? Is there anything that surprised you about making a movement this big, this successful, that you didn't expect?
Something that I didn't expect.
Okay, here's a little bit of a similar question. What was the hardest part of setting this thing up?
I think it was the email situation, the big email scare.
Really?
We paid for this service where it's like, okay, you get this many emails that you can send out, and it was 250,000 emails. We paid for this service, and we're like, okay, it's in the clear. We tested it. We made sure that the service worked. And then we launched the website on the 26th. And Google restricts us immediately because we're just like uploading all these emails to the system. Email like blacklists us, and we're like, oh shit. And we're essentially going into panic mode. Like, why is Google restricting us? You know, why are they limiting us? Why aren't these emails getting sent out? Why is it Google specifically? And so we were just essentially in panic mode for the first days. And there was a lot of people like starting to lose confidence. Like, these guys can't figure out this website. The emails aren't being sent out. This is going to be a disaster. Thank Jesus that Moonly figured out the solution of just signing in via Google. And that pretty much essentially just like saved us immediately. So I think the giant email scare was essentially the most worried I've been about the movement so far.
That's actually kind of nice. It feels like if the biggest issue in this whole thing was the tech issue that was basically outside of your control, that sounds successful to me. I mean, I don't know.
I guess as on a more individual level, there's also the concern of the bot hosters going after me. After I essentially have been goading them and exposing them for what they've done to others, they could just do the same thing to me as well. There has been the concern of that, like, shit, am I just gonna load into a TF2 casual lobby these days, and one of these days and see my address in chat, you know, just for everyone to see?
Well,
you know, are they gonna swap me?
Here, tell you what, bot hosters, if you're about to send anybody after TheWhat, fuck you, and come after me.
Yeah,
like, send half of it to me, half of it to TheWhat, and we'll share. Okay? Split the pipe bomb in half and we'll make that work out.
Yeah. But on another hand, I think it's kind of cool because I've essentially put them into a position where if they do the very same things I've accused them of doing to myself, they're only proving me right.
Yes.
Which is why I think it's really funny that they went out of their way yesterday to stream snipe me while I was playing TF2. Because I essentially wanted them to do that and they did it.
How much fucking time do these guys have to be playing this game on a weekday? Oh,
too much. Too much.
Okay, but it's like kind of. Are you a full-time YouTuber?
I am full-time.
Jesus,
yeah.
Holy fuck! I gotta get my shit together. I wanna do that. I was gonna be like, TheWhat has a life and does stuff, and but.
I mean, I do some things. It just happens that a lot of those things are making YouTube videos.
Okay, so with this TF2 movement, what role do you see the community needing to play to influence the future direction of TF2 after, I guess, I don't know, after this movement? Because it sounds like this is going to be a movement that's going to be for until it's fixed. It'll lose some steam because it has to, because, you know.
Yeah.
But what are like the next steps that you envision?
I think the next step is, okay, so first save TF2, we played too soft. We were hardly hard on Valve at all. We essentially put no responsibility onto Valve. Second fix TF2, now we're addressing Valve directly, and we're essentially like, okay, so first save TF2, that was an appeal to emotion, right? Yep. We're essentially trying to appeal to Valve's love for the game to get it fixed. That didn't work. Appealing to emotion didn't work. Now, with this second one, we're trying to appeal to logic. Like, you know, TF2 is in a horrible state. These cheaters are everywhere. You got to do something about it. Like, logically speaking, you have to solve the anti-cheat. I think the next step is to hit the business where it hurts. I think if this isn't effective, I think our next step, and the only step that will feasibly really work, is just trying to start a mass boycott. Because if appealing to their emotion didn't work and appealing to their logic didn't work, we just have to hit them where it hurts in their wallets.
Okay.
So by summertime, if we don't see a significant action and this summer update comes out, I am going to very much try to incite a massive boycott against the summer update. If that's a success, then we're gonna up the ante and we're gonna like see if we can get Counter-Strike players on board. Even like, hey, your game's infested with cheaters too. How about you help us with boycotting? And maybe we can work that up into something bigger. But that is to be decided. Maybe we do get a response before it has to come to that. But I think our next response as a community, if this doesn't work, is hitting them as a company where it hurts in their wallets.
I think that that's just the logical thing to do. I think that that's a fair like middle ground, you know, for oh, do we boycott now? Do we not boycott now? Look,
Mhm.
don't boycott yet. Let's see if this works. If this doesn't work, gloves are off. It's time to do something a little bit more drastic so that we can get some kind of a response. I think that's a
Mhm.
smart thing to do. Yeah, I agree. How this was a question from Discord. How do you expect to send? I know that a plan is to send this list of names to Valve physically. What is like? How do you guys plan on doing that?
We're all gonna go to Washington. Like essentially, getting the message to Valve isn't gonna be too hard. They regularly accept visitors. Even if you emailed Valve right now and you're like, hey, I'm a community member, can I tour your office? There's a chance that they just let you right on in.
Really?
So I don't think getting the message to Valve is going to be much of a concern. I'd like to do it, going to Washington with other people. Like if I could, like Shork wants to go. So like if I could get Shork, maybe some other people, we could go to Valve directly and deliver this message. It's more or less the means we'd be delivering this message. Because we've flirted with a couple ideas. Like in the WoW petition thing that this whole movement has been inspired by, basically, they did this thing where they just brought boxes of papers. And we flirted with the like other ideas as well. Like one idea we had was printing out all of the names onto a giant blanket, right? And just like having a picnic outside of Valve's offices on this giant blanket. We thought that'd be a funny idea. Another one was a giant like wizard scroll. You know, you just bring it up to the door and you just unfold it. It just rolls out like a red carpet. That's another idea. Another one we've had is a billboard. You know, just right outside of Valve's office, just slap a billboard up. That's like, hey, here's the names of everyone who wants this problem fixed. It's right outside of Valve's office, impossible to ignore. There's ways to get the names to Valve. We just have to find out, A, what's the funniest way to do it, and B, what's the most effective way to do it. So try to cross over in between.
I guess there's no reason why. I mean, time and money. There's no reason why you can't do both. You can't. Like, there's no reason you can't have a picnic and then also deliver a stack of papers this high.
True.
To Gabe or whoever's receiving.
We could like
it.
double dip into various methods.
Okay. If you guys do end up doing that trip, I can't solidify that I'll be free then, but take me along. You said you're a Midwesterner. I too.
Yeah, I'm a Midwest lad myself.
I am a Midwesterner as well, so maybe we hang out at MSP and get over there. That'd be fun. That'd be so much fun. What? I want to go to Valve. That sounds sick. I want to touch the Valve. I want to lick the Valve. I want to lick the Valve. If I get there, I'll lick it for you guys. I'll tell you how it is.
I'm gonna steal the Valve. Take it for myself.
So say this thing. Like, what is the absolute best case scenario? What is your dream tweet or whatever that Valve puts out tomorrow? Saying tweet. We hear you for real this time.
Well, I don't think my dream scenario is a tweet. That's what I thought my dream scenario would be last time, and then we got the tweet, and that was it. I think until I see an update in front of my very face that the bots are going and Valve is doing something about it, I think I'm gonna keep the pressure on, because I'm not gonna fall for the PR bait tweet this time. You know, I'm gonna see it through until there's some actual action this time.
What does your ideal update look like?
My ideal update is Valve saying the problem out loud. You know, addressing the actual problem, not just like, oh, we hear about the problem, we're gonna fix it. No, I want to hear you address cheating directly, and I want to see you take efforts to fix it. I want to see ban waves on ban waves on ban waves, and I want to see that continuously. Or maybe they do finish this VAC Live thing and then make it compatible with TF2. I would very much like to see something like that as well.
Oh, me too. That'd be freaking awesome if that could work out. Interesting. Okay, well, we're running out of the questions that I've got. Are there any other bits of information that you think would be interesting to get out or that have not gotten out yet that people should know? I feel like we covered quite a bit.
Yeah, I think we covered a lot of ground. I don't think anything's coming to my mind at the moment.
Oh, do you have a message for any of the Kill TF2 people on Twitter?
Oh, the Doomers! There we go. There's a talking point right there.
I had a guy fucking... I said in... So I think it was... Okay, Tyler McVicker. wasn't entirely sure who he is, but he tweeted something about like Valve doesn't really care, you know. It was kind of doomer, kind of not, kind of down the middle. And I replied to that and I was like, save TF. And then I had somebody just say, kill yourself under that to me. And I was like, whoa, what are you talking about?
I think it's so funny. If you name a person who hates TF2 more than Valve fans, if you go onto like r/Valve right now and you see someone make a thread about fix TF2, all the comments are gonna be negative. Like, it's a dead game. Just get over it and move on to the next thing.
Oh, I have seen some Overwatch people kind of rejoicing a little bit, which I've been like, hold up. Holy shit, what if there were 2 cakes? Oh, that'd be crazy. Could you imagine?
No way. Could you imagine if you could play both games and both games were playable?
I wanna be a dual streamer of TF2 and Overwatch 2. Unfortunately, right now one of them is unplayable and the other one is TF2.
Yeah. You want to know something I find really funny?
What's
the people who are like commenting like TF2 fans need to give it up and go away and stop talking. And it's like, you purposefully came into a space where the TF2 community is talking, and you're surprised that the TF2 community is talking about TF2.
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
Like, what did you expect?
They come in there like, you guys need to shut up already. Dude,
why did you come in here and tell the TF2 fans to stop talking about TF2?
If you're interacting with Save TF2 posts, Twitter is going to feed you more TF2 posts. You just gotta... You're digging your own grave, dude. Okay, so to all the doomers out there, what's the official TheWhat take?
My take is, let me get ready for this. Okay, I gotta lean forward. Yep. Okay, no more taking doomer pills. We are taking hope in the face of insurmountable odds pills.
Yes.
Okay? Even if it's very unlikely for anything to happen, it is much better to try and fail than not try at all.
Yes, we have nothing to lose. Absolutely nothing. So let's do it. And we are. And it is. It's currently happening. And if someone wants to help the whole thing out, where do they go? What do they do?
Okay, 2 big things. The 2 big resources are A, save.tf website, sign the petition. You can learn more about the bots there. It gives a very brief description. And if you want to know about the full extent of the bot crisis, go to like my Twitter and read the doc. If you're skeptical about the bot issue and how bad it is, read my doc. I have all the proof. I have testimony. I have everything you need for full context on the situation, and you can get informed. I know it's 23 pages. All right, so like listen to some Subway Surfers while you read it. It's not gonna kill you, okay? I included lots of videos and pretty little pictures. You know, it's like a picture book. So just read that document or watch my video on it. It does not have to be the video. Just keep yourself informed on the problem and share the resources. Share the document, share the website, get people informed because information is key.
100%. That brings us to our time. TheWhat, you have been a huge part of this thing, and I gotta thank you for everything that you're doing to help set this shit up because God knows I don't have the time to do it or the wherewithal, I suppose. So thank you. And I think I speak on behalf of most people that are following this movement and who play TF2, except for the cheaters. They probably wouldn't share the same feelings that I do. Mm-hmm. So we appreciate it. And with that, that's the end of this episode of A Night with TheWhat. Do you have some socials that you can share with us?
Yeah, TheWhat Show on YouTube, or you can find my Twitter at TheWhat89.
Yes.
Yep. That's where you can find me.
It's true. And all the links will be down in the description as well, so that you can make sure. Also, there will be the save.tf. If you haven't yet, go sign the fucking thing. It's been up for a while now, and
I heard if you sign the petition, you gain 3 inches. It's true. It's been proven.
I gotta go. I gotta measure really quick, so I'll get that. I hope that it's in height and not in length, because I'm too short. Anyway, okay, there you go. Go sign it, gain some inches, and make us all really happy. And hopefully, we make TF2 a better game, a real game that works, that functions, that deserves all of our love and support. Mm-hmm. Thank you again, TheWhat, for coming in. We will have you on again.
Been an honor.
thank you. We'll have you on again to actually like talk about you and your content creation because I am fascinated about that stuff.
Sure, gladly I'd come back.
Hell yeah. And we'll play some games too. And it'll be very
Yay!
fun. Thank you guys for watching. Go in the links down below, do all those things. Follow TheWhat, subscribe to TheWhat, follow me, subscribe to me, and sign the stamp petition. Let's fix TF2. Thank you all very much, and we'll see you next time.
Bye-bye.